Welcome to Age of Empires 4! We are in the Platinum League, checking out a team game on African waters. In the south, first in blue, we have the first half of the Asian Alliance, playing as the Chinese, Pamphilis. And just to their north in green, Yan playing the Japanese. Now, to their north, we have double Lancaster here in yellow and teal. So, interesting to see, people have a lot of feelings about Lancaster. I don't know how this is going to work. You have a team game with two civilizations with a lot of explosive capacity and passive income. We do see a water opening. I mentioned we're on African waters, and if you're not familiar with this map, let me give you a little guide. The teams start across from each other very close. Almost, well, if I turn my screen around, they're a screen away. You can see here. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong team. Sorry, if I turn it this way, you can see how they're a screen away, with Lancaster to the left here and China to the right. So you start off very close, but behind you, you have a lot of resources. One of you has better access to this pond, this lake, inland sea, however you like it. You can come around the back of this. This is not typically blocked off, but you can't really develop much. You're blocked off, from doing any shenanigans of building anything back here. And then to either side of the players, I'm going to turn the mini-map around so it's more of a square instead of that diamond shape. On the left here and on the right, you have stone, relics, gold, wood, sacred sites, and trading posts. So you have to fight, but if you're able to maintain some map control, you do have some opportunities for booming. It's a really nice design. I like it a lot. Unsurprisingly, we have the first landmark being the Lancaster Castle, moving over to stone here. The teal Lancaster moving a little slower, only moving on to gold now. This makes sense, right? They're going for they've been on wood, they're going for the food. So they're going to have to rely on their teammate for a little defense here if things get hot early. Good sheep haul, 13 sheep for teal as well. So teal not hurting for food. Maybe you give that to your teammate? I don't know. What do you think? You're going for fish? Your teammate has to defend you? Wow. Big volley coming out here. Teal gonna have to be careful here. Not in a hard place. Look at them. In step. Both Japan and China have gone for water openings, sharing their common ocean. No Tawara through, not relying on the berries, just getting the house there in position. I like it. It's a responsible move. Slower age-ups, though. Neither... Well, Japan has just gotten onto gold. China has yet to do so. So China, hasn't collected any gold either. You see 39 there. They don't have an imperial official out yet. Gold collection ramping up here for Lancaster South. Lancaster East. And only one villager tapping away at... it is 3 villagers tapping away at the Lancaster Castle. Apologies, I couldn't really see through that. Scout causing minimal distraction. Same on the south side. So what do we expect to see here? Oh, Abbey of Kings. So this is always an interesting move. When you have players playing the same civilization on a team, do you double down on one strategy, or do you hedge your bets and go for multiple? I like here that you have one going for the manor-centric play, and the other one who's gone for water is not. They're going to go for the Abbey of Kings and allow them to get the 4 Lords of Lancaster that they're able to get. Japan, in particular, has a great answer to this, however. They're able to make both the Onomusha, which is mounted crossbows effectively, and samurai with the upgrade that is that is effective against all infantry. So this has to be targeting more the Chinese, who have weaker man-at-arms. They're fast, but they're weaker. in the palace guards. They're able to get normal crossbows out. Nothing really special about Chinese crossbows. Good fishing eco here. Core storehouse not in the range of the town center, but instead back against the wood line. I would suspect we would see later in the game a second town center here or here, so that they're able to get the bonus, so that the farms around the core storehouse are able to get the bonus that upgraded town centers from the Japanese get. Village coming down. China. Well, that's 9 villagers, one more that can fit inside the Barbican, and I don't think that they have any clue this is happening. I'm going to switch over. They do. They know this is happening, or at least they should, if they're able to spot it out. No response yet. So the sneaky Barbican coming around the back. 7 villagers on gold here for Lancaster, and these villagers are going to try to attack, but they're not going to be able to. They have their short bows, but they're going to get cut out of position here, and they recognize that. They're pulling away. Villagers pop in immediately. No one down yet. Scout trying to get a sense of the situation here, and smartly moves immediately over to their teammates' safe gold. It's a large gold protected by the Lancaster Castle. So this is a minimal delay, and you have to remember from the perspective of the Chinese here, they have 33 villages, about to be 34, but 8 of them, a large chunk of their army, a quarter, is now occupied. They're going to go on this wood line now, so they are now more occupied than they were, but that was a lot of villager time loss. You have caused a disruption. You have caused a change to their own villager downtime by having Teal move to their teammate's base. But a tough move. 5th manor coming in. And now you have a galley coming down and an archery range. Lord of Lancaster coming around. Second one in the queue. So how do you handle this? Do you get a blacksmith? Do you get infantry? Do you try to immediately get a barracks down? Do you go for your own longbows? That works. If they have scouted, that is if they have scouted the range, and they have because of the visibility of their dock and ship. No other production coming down for the Chinese. Japan already speeding into castle. Double stables coming down. We know what's next. You're going to see Mounted Samurai out the wazoo. I think we split these villagers up. Get a couple over here. A little more efficient if you can. The first Lancaster Lord of Lancaster goes down. 231 health. They have a lot of health. Regular archers out. We're not in Song Dynasty. And a stable coming out as well. So no hard counters to the Lords of Lancaster. More manors coming up. Biding their time. Age up available for English, and they're going to go for a white tower in the back. It's going to get them the production they need. The Chinese archers are going to try to get on top of this town center. Horseman comes around. That's going to go down as well to the English town center fire. Well, Lancaster town center, but. Japan now fully ready. Could be moving a little bit more onto this permanent food source. I say that in every Japanese game because very few players actually efficiently use this. You got to get on this immediately. Tawara through. Not the further upgrade. And we now have a full contingent here of manors coming through here. So they're going to be able to muster the nobles pretty quickly here. Keep getting that income. Two Lords of Lancaster. keeping an eye on things. A tower here as well. So now these towers are going to spend the rest of the day shooting at each other, so that's going to be obnoxious. So, real interesting situation we have here. You do get the faster production out. We don't see the production rallied anywhere. We don't see... Excuse me, no! Ha! Of course, sorry, this is not the English. Mounted Samurai coming through here. I was going to say that you get the production from the White Tower. You don't. You only get this defensive capacity. Nobles and a couple of Earl's Guard out. A second barracks coming in here. Most of the nobles still available, and England has their own White Tower out, protecting the hardy food sources out here. You have deer, you have berries. Mounted Samurai looking for a position in. They might not be aware of Yellow's White Tower yet. Good fish boom coming through here. They have to share it, so you got to get on these farms again sooner than later. Now the White Tower is revealed. So both players having to go into a White Tower, not a King's Palace, and that's going to hurt their scalability into the late game. Of course, it's great to hold the line, but it's not so great when you actually need to make something out of it. You have defense, but you don't have the villager bonus. You don't have the ability to get that additional support. Mounted Samurai looking for victims, going station to station, checking out the gold. They're not going to find anything there. Of course, they don't know it, so we know they're not map hacking. Map hackers. And astronomical clock tower coming through here. So China going to join the Castle Age. 8 villagers on that. 2 more racks. Excuse me, 2 more ranges in the back. Another stable. Up here. A lot of pressure on this Barbican now. A lot of damage still being taken through, and a non-trivial amount of units in the town center. With the Lancaster will clean them up quite easily, but damage will be taken. 3rd rack's in. Mounted Samurai posturing all over the base here. The ones in the back that have been hunting for villagers are now going to try the main base. And they're going to dive right into the maw of the Lancaster Castle and all of the arrows that the manors have to offer. A few spears and man-at-arms in there. Earl's Guard. Lots of arrows coming out here, but good damage coming through here nevertheless. A couple of villagers down. The defensive army obliterated. But the Wingard Palace is through. We're going to have to start playing Beasties. I'm losing the buildings line. So, cleanup is almost complete here. Villagers trying to get some deer here. But the military contingent still has to handle these military production buildings in the back of the Lancaster base. Cleanup's not done yet. Shukinu coming through, and I don't know what. Here we go. Teal, focus. Your villagers are doing all the hard work here. Oh, they're only killing deer. So Shukinu still able to do some work here. Still production coming through here. Ooh, lots of idle time. 18 villagers. An Imperial Guard. They're on the move now to berries. So China's going to have to move into a longer-term strategy here. I want to get into a dynasty, get some granaries out, because these fish ain't going to hold it for the rest of the game. And I have to say, I think China is pretty behind here. They've lost their landmark. They can't protect any other resources through it. What did they get out of it? They forced a White Tower, or 2, frankly. That's pretty good. Monastery coming up, going to try to start sucking up relics. They invested quite a bit back here, and it's all lost. Large military force here. They can heal. Am I right? Does this still heal? Yes. So they should be healing these units up here at the Abbey of Kings. Villagers starting to diversify their food, getting some more berries. Good to see. You don't want anyone getting scurvy out there. A lone trebuchet going to start working down the White Castle. White Tower, not White Castle. I've never been to a White Castle. I don't know why I make that mistake. I guess my dad talked about them a lot. Loved it. Lots of spears here. It's a cheap counter to an expensive unit. Trebuchet is going to try to get out of dodge. Spear is going to focus it down. Daimyo Palace has been upgraded a couple times here. One trebuchet does go down. They're going to force this fight here. Spears in here with the Earl's Guard. And the Lords of Lancaster. The new trebuchet is out. Most of the mounted samurai are going to get out. And right now, the double Lancaster is able to push the issue. Still has the ability to get the units out of the Lancaster Castle. Has yet to pull it. Pardon me. Big hits coming in here. Now this is only going to damage the economy so much because you do have a lot of it over here on water, and you do see a lot here evacuating out to the west. Moving over to get some wood. Idle time here though, and China's going to have to push a lot more here. They're doing good work, a mix of crossbows and shukanu. They're going to be able to hold this for now. Villagers are going to have to evacuate the premises or perish. They will perish. And this is the risk you run when you go into double-mounted samurai. They're doubling down on this as well with the Yorshiro, with more production. And it's tough when your opponent can just make cheap spears in the masses. They're only doing it with this one barracks. This gold is about to be exhausted. 25 villagers on it. Teal Lancaster has gone back to their base and can enjoy their own. But the southern team's going to have to play catch-up now. Yellow is in a very strong position. They have lots of resources coming in every second here. Chasing away a scout. Everyone's looking again to see if anyone's expanded their territory. And one note, I like one player going for fish. You know, it's a lot to invest in a dock, in the fishing boats, and it's a finite resource. They do replenish, but you can only have so many fishing boats on them at a given time. So I do like here how Teal is going to be able to take advantage of this. Trebuchet's now out for Yellow. And I like it. A flexibility in their play here. Lots of archers coming out here. The Yumi Ashigaru. They're cheap. They're affordable. I don't know if you need to put your shields in both of them. I think some free gold here might pay better dividends. It's not like they're short on wood options either. And barracks coming out here. I would expect them to get the Odachi upgrade to be able to counter the infantry more directly. A modest force out for Teal. A modest force out for Yellow. So 25 there. 31 there. 38 range units, however, for China. And Japan has a pretty good mass growing as well. Diversifying this quickly now. And these Yumi Ashigaru going to come out every 13 seconds. Every 6 seconds, excuse me. Every 6 seconds. They are cheap. You can afford to do this. And in the back, unbeknownst, is Tagashima Gunsmith. So, villager getting out of the way. We should check on those. We saw the monastery coming down earlier. One in here. 2, 3. I'm not sure where you're... Oh, they can't get through because there's a wall. Well, they might not get this one, Lancaster. A Lancer's going to come out and help. And I feel like right now, they've made a huge mistake here by not utilizing the Lancaster Castle's abilities to get a force out. They've had a military advantage, frankly an economic advantage, for quite some time here. But China is getting online. They're having a chance to get this production out. Maybe a second town center coming out as well. Maybe even a third. That could also be a keep. They're going to need to evacuate soon. You know, you have this many on gold. 12, 13 villagers on gold. You want an Imperial official on that, I think. It increases the net amount of gold you have, not just that you're getting it quicker. It effectively increases the amount you have. Now, infantry mass. Earl's Guard, Spearmen, and a monk with the Lord of Lancaster. Busting through here. Monk is going to try to get... Monk is going to try to get the relic. A Chinese monk is also on his way out here. The 2 Lancers, 3 Lancers ain't going to cut it. Villagers here tapping away. Draining the wood pretty quickly here. Triple trebuchets out. This is a big investment for Japan. They have to hold it. Provide a lot of benefits here. And I feel like Japan here, 49. Oh, it's hard to say. I don't know if they could take this army yet. But you might want to force it. 4th trebuchet coming out. This town center is going to be going down. And now the infantry of the House of Lancaster has been met by a huge ranged infantry mass and Nest of Bees and Springalds. Both monks have died. And Lancaster has left the premises. So, able to rally around from inside their base. And now a Berkshire is just pissing on the Chinese base. God, don't you hate this? Look. This is not even the full range. They could be taking down the TC right now. Oh, it's the worst. Japan's pushing out. Cavalry out. You're gonna look for victims, and they will find some when they get there, but they have split their inferior army. Onabageisha out here with Samurai. Samurai do have their Odachi upgrade. Archer's gonna have to kite. Town center's down. Can't provide any defenses. And China's gonna have to pull. China's absolutely gonna have to pull to this. Not producing out of their double Yorishiro. They have 4 Yorishiros all in production buildings, and they're not producing out of any of those facilities. Massive miscalculation here in how to organize the advantages their civilization has. A keep now coming up. A defensive posture in front of the base. Granaries coming down in the far back of the base. And now Japan isn't going to push the issue. Excuse me, I meant the Lancaster. They're not going to push it. I don't know if they saw. I don't think they saw the size of China's force here. 69 units against the 68 of the House of Lancaster. But the big difference being these are counters. Almost every single one of these is a counter to what House of Lancaster in yellow is pushing out. Now, we didn't see what happened up here. There are lots of villagers out for England, getting a keep down, securing this gold, securing the stone. You'd love to see a wall come through. They don't quite have the resources for a stone wall. They will soon. This is where, having both teams fishing, they've exhausted 2 of the 3, almost 4, 5. They've exhausted all of the large deep water fish sources back here. Now, granted, Teal is having a similar issue here, but it's only one economy, and they're going to be able to recover. I'd love to see some of these go get the shorefish, keep them active. But now the small Japanese force with Rebalbaquins now in the mix, coming out of the Tashimiga gunsmith. More archers. Use your Yorishiro or destroy the buildings. It's so hard to see that. Also, not getting the upgrade yet to get additional Yorishiro out. I get that they're pressured. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of spears. They have their Billman upgrade. Reduces enemy armor by 1. Not a huge deal against this army of mostly ranged infantry. A handful of palace guards in there as well. The 5 trebuchets now doing easy work on this keep. Still hasn't used the military out of the House of Lancaster. Raids coming through. A large Hoblar force is out. Able to put pressure on this external gold mine. 13 villagers in a dangerous spot here. China's having to make a choice. They're going to move up there. But I don't know what they think the Yumi Ashigaru are going to do against the Hoblar. They get bonus against range. These 3 samurai are going to make a difference. But this is going to wipe out, if they're not careful, the entire army. Japan optimistic that they can get this wall up. The Yumi Ashigaru are fast. Not nearly as fast as the Hoblar. Now the push is coming in from the north. China has to face this all on their own. This massive spearman with a couple of Earl guards. Villagers repairing their castle, getting that wall up, securing this side, but they have to rejoin their teammate immediately. These Yumi Ashigaru have to get out. They need more production, but Blue can't do it alone, and they call it quits. Blue and green here were in a tough situation. Japan's going to cycle over, but it's not going to matter. Green taking their large force of 60. I say large, but it's nothing compared to what the enemy can throw at them. They're immediately outside of the base of the Japanese, and the damage is going to start coming. We never saw a second town center. We never saw bonuses on the farms of the core storehouse. There is a second town center far in the back here. Apologies for missing that. But it's just not going to hold the day here. So multiple cases of not utilizing your civilization benefits. You're going to put your Yorishiro solely into production buildings when you have this much wood available? Well, you're missing out on free gold. You're missing out on your flexibility later to handle something. You didn't get your extra 2 Yorishiro out. So, you know, I think Yan here has some things to pick up on, things that they can do better in a future game, which is to really be thoughtful about where they're doing their masses, where they're getting it from, and do they really need the Yorishiro for that? Holding back the main force here, playing it obviously too safe. They don't know how weak Japan is. Japan's scrambling around while Lancaster United is able to remass. Lots of villagers building walls, chasing around the infantry of Lancaster. The Hoblars are coming through here. It's a choice to not use that benefit. I can only assume here that Japan feels like their fishing economy can keep them in the game. But they have come to realize the truth. Well, the Asian front of Japan and China is defeated by the double Lancaster. You know, I think the early aggression of China didn't really think it through. You know, you get that Barbican on a large gold mine, but their teammate has a large gold mine. What are you getting from that, really? So, I think some mistakes were made. Some early cheese, some early aggression didn't pan out. And it was House of Lancaster that took the win. I want to see here. It's hard to tell in team games what the the impact on villager raids are, really, because you don't have the counter you do in the caster mode. But looking here, I mean, you can see that Teal took some pretty bad hits early, and they never really recovered until much later in the game. They were able to, but it took quite some time, only later surpassing. Also, a big critique here: a lot of these players leveled off. China, you got to keep producing villagers. You don't level out at, this is 70? That's not going to be enough here. I'm going to go back to the economy count. Everyone needs to be up over 100 and keep going. I mean, Lancaster kept going until the end. Obviously, you had raids happening, but, a lot more room here for all of the players to get more economic benefits out. And this is including the fishing boats. So they were really, pulling up short when it came to their villager count. So I think both teams had a window there that was left unutilized. But in the end, the Double Lancaster team wins. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll catch you in the next one.